Hello, my name is Aisha. I have two children already. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old, both boys. I wanted to do this video because I've been watching a lot of IVF videos and they all seem like it's the normal process. I haven't seen anything where it's a curveball being pitched. So, in my situation, it has been. So, I wanted to make this video just to kind of give more insight on the process. Everyone's not the same. So, with that being said, I want to say I've been trying to have a girl since 2017. I lost both fallopian tubes. I won't get too detailed about that. I will post another video about ectopic pregnancies, but I lost both fallopian tubes. After my 10-year-old son, I had my tubes tied and I went through the process of reversal. I also make another video about that. I don't want this one to be too long. So if I look down, it's because I was keeping notes of the time frame. I did a IVF consult on March the 13th. Later on that month, I had to do a legal parenting agreement because I'm not married. So the person I'm going into it with, we had to do a legal documentation about not trying to fight for child support and things of that nature. When I started my cycle for March, I had to go do labs on either the second, third, or fourth day of that cycle. I went on the second day. I started that cycle on March the 28th, so I went to do the labs around like March the 31st. I did a pregnancy test also that day to confirm I wasn't pregnant to start birth control that night. My test came back, maybe my doctor's office called me a week later, and it stated that me and the child's father came back for beta thalassemia, which is blood disorder. It's not a big deal, so I've been told, but being that we both have it, it could be a strong possibility that it'll pass off into the baby. So that was my curveball that had been kicked. Once those tests came back, it stopped everything since I wanted to do genetic testing on the embryos because I'm trying for a girl. So I was initially scheduled for SHG on April the 8th. Since that test came back for the beta thalassemia, that appointment got canceled. My doctor advised me that I would then have to do genetic counseling before we can proceed with IVF. I worked with my laboratory who did the genetic testing, and they did a counseling over the phone with me, but my doctor also required that I did a face-to-face counseling to see what the ins and outs will be of if the embryo did come back with the beta thalassemia and the side effects and all of those things. So being that COVID-19 is in play, a lot of hospitals was not taking new patients. My clinic did have genetic counselors there, but that department was shut down due to COVID. So I had to outsource hospitals and find a hospital that was available to do the genetic counseling. And I finally found one, but the appointment wasn't scheduled until, they couldn't get me in until about May the 18th. So that prolonged the situation or put me on hold for a whole month from April to May. And also my doctor advised me that with the genetic testing, since it came back, we both had the beta thalassemia, that the laboratory will have to build a probe specifically for that to test the embryos. The probe building could take anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks, I was told. So my doctor didn't want to go ahead and start the process until the probe was completed. So I stopped taking the birth control. That was around March the 21st, because in my mind I'm thinking, why continue taking this birth control if I'm going to not start the process to August or September? So I stopped taking the birth control. They were giving me, like, those pills made my head hurt. I was throwing up. It was just not a good thing. I hated it. So we did that. And I'm making this video today because last week my laboratory reached out to me to let me know that the probe was completed and that we could go ahead and continue the process. Thank God. So my doctor put me back on birth control starting today. So I haven't had a calendar made yet. My doctor, the IVF coordinator, supposed to follow up with me Monday with my calendar, but I am on the schedule to have egg retrieval on September the 7th. So hopefully all is well and everything works out and I stay on task with that. I'm going to do more videos to update the process as I'm going along. I just didn't want to make this video and then wait months or weeks before the process picked back up. So I'm doing it now since I started the birth control again today. And hopefully the ball's gonna keep rolling. If you have any questions, comments, if your situation is similar to mine, please comment, reach out to me. This process is long. You have to have patience. Like, it's so overwhelming. There's so many times that I wanted to give up, but do not give up. Just keep going. If you want it, keep going. Fight for what you want, and it's going to be amazing in the end. Thank you, guys.